Hi, I'm Vicky Schofield. Today is day 29 of my 40 days of colourful prayer journaling. And today I'm going to be completing the collage that I began earlier in my prayer journal. I'm going to be adding the last stone to it, which is going to be a pink stone, probably rose quartz, something like that, a shiny stone, but this time with veins in it. There's going to be more pattern within the colour to show what's inside the stone a little bit. I've chosen two pinks, the white and a pale yellow. And I'm going to start by making some veins with the pale yellow. That's because I wanted something warmer in the middle. I could have used white, could have used pale blue. When you're doing this sort of thing, you get all sorts of colours in the veins, don't you? But I've chosen this yellow, and I'm just filling in where I want the veins. I'm doing quite thick veins here. You can do really thin spider veins. I'm using rather thicker ones. And then I'm using this coral pink around the edge. To begin with, I'm not going over the veins. I'm going in between. But I will go over the veins later. You want them covered over. You don't want them on the surface, as it were. You want them to look like they're embedded in the stone. So again, using very small strokes, just working round, trying to keep it as even as possible. It's quite painstaking work doing these stones, but very satisfying. You can let your mind wander to other things while you're doing it. Here I'm just beginning to define the edges a bit more. I want them to be darker, to lift up the middle of the stone, to look three-dimensional. Now I'm going over it with the white, not to make it lighter, but just to blend those edges. And I'm going right across all of it now, including the veins, so that it all gets blended. The more that you blend the colours, the more that you do these layers, the more realistic the stone looks in the end. So it's worth taking some time over it. This technique can be used for other things as well that are three-dimensional. Works well on fruit. If you want to do a shiny apple, this is how you do it. The ones I love doing are cherries. Glossy cherries with a bright highlight. It's a great illusion, that one. So now I'm using the darker pink around the edge and blending inwards, just bringing that shading in, and then blending it with the lighter pink on top. beginning to go across all the veins now. So you get a pink layer over the yellow. You can still see the veins, they still show through, but they look more embedded in the stone. I'm trying to keep that part lighter where I am now, just to give that that light that shines through a stone, that translucency at the bottom there, or the top, whichever. What I didn't do this time, of course, was to leave the highlight. I realised that I'm going to, in the next video, I'm going to show the highlights, and I'll show you, I put on highlights on the stone afterwards. I'm just making the edges darker. Defining them a bit more. And you just keep doing this, you keep working at it until you're satisfied. You can do as many layers as you like. You just keep going until it looks right. And that's why you use quite light strokes and small, so that you can keep doing these layers. Bit more definition around there, and this is nearly done now. Just blending that edge. Just moves the colour a little bit so that it mixes better. So here I'm just filling in around the edge of the stone with something darker to make a nice contrast to it. And then I start doing the stripy bit, and I have no idea what this is about yet. It might be a scarf, I'm not sure. I will find out in the future. These things I often don't know until later what it is that I've been doing, or what I'm thinking, until I actually see it drawn out. I know other people who say they don't know what they're thinking until they say it out loud or they write it down. For me, it's visual. It's in these things that I understand what I'm thinking and feeling about something, and also how I can listen most clearly to God. So that's the picture of the stone. I love the yellow, the way that's come out. It hasn't got the highlights on yet. You'll see that in the next episode. We're putting the highlights on and talking about the highlights on the other stones as well. I hope you enjoyed that. Do have a go.